Hi, and welcome to the Brit and Aussie podcast at Christmas. If you're listening to this, you're probably maybe sat around a fire with your friends and family, crackling away. Maybe this will go out on Christmas Day if I get my act together and edit it quick enough. Who knows? Maybe this is our Christmas present to you. It's pretty cold here. I'm having to wrap up warm. Wolf, how is it? How is it in Australia at the moment?
Okay, I literally had a shower this morning and I
Oh,
just turned on the cold tap. Just the
oh,
cold tap.
yeah.
No hot water at all. It
Uh,
is it is
uh,
gross and
is it?
disgusting. Also
Uh,
Christmas is the worst.
Oh, it's warm there, is it? Oh,
It's yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
it's a
yeah.
little it's a little warm. It's a
It's
little
your
warm.
summertime. Oh, okay. So
It's like 4 or 5 in the morning and it was like 30
yeah,
degrees, so no. That's Celsius for those of you at home.
yeah. Oh my God! I just remembered. You know, literally just before we start recording. This is not a good way to start this podcast, but just before we start recording, I said, "Wolf, I don't have anything." I've just remembered. I totally do have something.
Right.
So I've wondered. So you yourself, you don't like Christmas. You're not
No.
not big into Crimbo. Okay,
No.
but still, as a thing over there. It's it's pretty big, isn't it? People
Yeah.
people celebrate Christmas over there.
Oh, of course. It's a huge,
But
huge deal.
do you still listen? Presumably, people still listen to Christmas music as well.
Yes.
Surely that's just weird because it's all like chestnuts roasting on an open fire, and they're like, oh fucking hell! It's fucking
Yeah.
boiling, or it's like,
Oh yeah,
let
all the ones that are about
it snow, let it
snow. Yeah,
snow,
yeah.
let it. And everyone's just like. I was I was gonna mention this to you the other day, but I was like, no, this would be good for the podcast.
Yeah.
But obviously,
It's
all the
so
things
weird.
about Christmas, anything you get that's Christmas related, it's not got Santa there in like some sandals or whatever. He's
Yeah,
there in like,
there's no Christmas song that's like scorching like a piece of bacon.
yeah,
You know,
because the rest
it's
of the
not
world
a
will be
thing.
like, what? What?
It's all snow related and
Yeah, that must be
by
really,
fire and hot cocoa kind of thing.
yeah, and like,
It's weird. But
yeah,
you're just so used to it because you hear it everywhere. Like even as a little kid going through the shopping center or whatever, and you just hear it playing in the background,
you
and
just
you just
like,
become desensitized to it.
yeah, or like
But
people
if
that are
you actually
really
sit there
into.
and think about it, it's like that's weird.
Okay, is it a thing that like people bring their kids out like Christmas caroling and that?
No, that's not a thing.
Right, it's not a thing. Okay, it's like,
You do not want to walk around on Christmas Day. No.
no. I was gonna say it's very rarely a thing here. It's normally in like sort of tight knit like
Yeah.
like housing estates where everyone sort of knows each other. Like, oh, let's go sing to them, and they normally do it like a few days before Christmas, but not where I live. But
Yeah, the only places people go on Christmas are like to someone's house, to somewhere with air conditioning,
yeah,
or to the beach.
yeah, which is just like
I know that sounds super odd to
it.
you, but
It
yeah,
is, yeah, it is
yeah,
insane. It's
Christmas Day at the beach.
just imagine like just finished like you know
And yes, Christmas
Christmas.
barbecue is a thing.
Yeah, I can just imagine that, just finish Christmas dinner with the fam, and I'm like, ah, that was lovely. And I'm like, oh, what should we do now? Should we get the Monopoly out? Should we play some board games, sit around and watch a film? And I'm just like, let's go to the beach, right? Like
Yeah,
they just were like, what, are you insane? It's December, and you're like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's the best time to go. Like, do people ever go to the beach on Christmas Day for like a Christmas tan? They just lay on the beach.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so
No,
strange to
that's
me.
that's that's what
Like,
people do. Like, like when you're at school and that, you're like, yeah,
yeah,
okay, over the Christmas holidays, I'm getting a tan. I'm gonna come back to school. I'm gonna be sexy as hell.
yeah.
I'm gonna look good. So yeah, over Christmas, people will go get a tan and come back in
Christmas
January.
buff up, and yeah. Wow.
It's yeah. You go away for the holidays, you come back with a tan, looking good and all that.
Yeah. And
Um,
so like
it's
people that are super into Christmas, presumably they like listen to Christmas music in their car, 'cause it's part of the season and sing
yeah,
along. But surely that is just strange. Like, you're sitting at the lights in your car and you're just absolutely like you've got the windows open, you've had the aircon on, you're sitting there in your shorts and your thongs or whatever. You know,
Yeah,
you're absolutely dying, and there's just someone in the car next to you, just like, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow, just
yeah.
like singing
It's.
along, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on? Like this is insane.
I mean, here I'll send you. I'll send you something.
Okay,
This is Santa for us.
okay, yeah. It's literally Santa as you know him with his big white beard and his
You'll have to
Christmas,
put it up on the thing.
yeah, and his Christmas hat for anyone that can't actually look at it. His Christmas hat. But then he's wearing a Hawaiian style shirt, like it's red with snowflakes on it, and he's just got like red shorts and bare
Yeah,
legs.
he's ready for a day at the beach.
Yeah. So do you think like okay, here's the thing. So we're talking logistically about Santa Claus here. Um,
Okay.
so when he starts delivering presents, where do you think he starts? I presume near you. Yeah, due to the time
Uh,
difference, like he's
well,
got to
yeah,
get to you quicker.
I'd say so. I'd say he would have to start down this way
Yeah,
just to like get ahead of it.
yeah, because
Yeah,
there's no
and then
use
he's got
starting.
like an extra day.
Yeah, because imagine if we started like Western America, like that would never happen.
No, no.
You know,
I mean,
because Christmas would have
I
already been
honestly
over.
think Santa, it's just propaganda. Like he doesn't actually do it
Uh,
himself. Like I think the
what?
elves actually help, and he takes all the credit.
Well, yeah. Let's just think like realistically, how many? Say so realistically, he needs to start with a place like furthest in time.
Right,
So I guess you start with your neighbours, the Kiwis,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So it's a pretty big place. There's a lot of houses. How long are we
Yeah.
talking per house?
Well,
It can't just be a
if
quick.
let's think about the Santa mythology for a second.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Go
Like
ahead.
his his actual powers that we are aware of.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got
The law. Yeah.
the law, the Santa law.
Yeah.
Um, he's able to fit into small spaces magically. So whether or not they have a chimney, he can just come in through like keyholes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Which is a
So
bit weird.
that
Like, is he like an octopus?
presumably
He just
presumably he can assume some sort of gaseous form, like a
oh my
mist-like
god.
substance,
Along
or
with the bag of presents.
along with the bag of presents. Yes.
Okay. Right.
So because he doesn't use this for actual travel and he uses his flying reindeer sleigh,
Of course. Yeah.
we can assume he can only do this in sort of short bursts or with smaller movements. But
Yeah.
that would allow him to very quickly enter a house. So he could pretty much just sort of materialize next to the tree, put the presents down, zip out.
No,
So
because no, he's got to eat the the stuff that the kids leave, haven't they? There's like a mince
they
pie
always,
in that.
yeah, but they always leave it near the tree, right? And there's nothing saying
So
that he
yeah.
eats it on the spot. So he
Well, yeah,
could
I guess so.
grab it, take
He
it
like
with
has
him
it on the go. Yeah.
on the go. That's what gives him the energy to go around the world.
Yeah.
It keeps
Okay.
him going. It sustains him. It
So
fuels his magic power.
how many households are there in say New Zealand where he's starting off? There's
Oh,
how
there's a
many
couple,
households in
couple million people.
New Zealand? Okay. So we're talking. Okay, in 2013 they had over 1.5 million households.
Yeah,
So just over. So by now we're talking. We're probably verging on 2 mil, for
right.
example.
But
Just
you can cut that in half because of
no,
people on the naughty list.
Of course, yeah.
More than half, actually.
But
There's
did
probably
you?
only a fraction of people that are on the nice list.
Thing is, you think about it. Did you ever know anyone that was on the naughty or didn't actually get presents? Because I knew people that, when I was younger and I went to school, there were people that were like, they were fucking bullies or whatever, and they were always told like, oh, you're gonna go on the naughty list, but then you just know that, in a few days you're gonna see him walking down the street like, with their new
I
Game
think I did
Boy
know a kid. I did
and
know a
everything.
kid who like really, really pissed off his parents. He
Yeah.
was just a horrible little bastard. And then, yeah, he just didn't get any presents. I
Really?
wonder if there's any connection to that.
Wow.
Nah, couldn't be.
No, 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 no.
Santa just knows.
Yeah,
Santa
yeah.
just knows.
It's like, well, of course, all parents have a link with Santa. They just send a message, just being like, "No,
Yeah.
Jimmy's
Well,
Jimmy's been a little
he's
shit this
he's
year.
magical.
Don't
They've got
bother."
a whole analyst section of the North Pole where all
Yeah.
the elves are analyzing people.
Well, that's the thing. People
He
think,
taps into security camera. I mean, security cameras
yeah, yeah.
everywhere these days. He
I mean,
probably
people think that the whole Santa is a one-man operation. It's definitely
no.
not. It's a
It's a team.
massive.
It's a
Yeah.
team. It's
So
a
he is,
yeah,
he's the face of the brand, so to speak.
yeah,
But behind the scenes, of course, there's a workshop. Elves they're working
yeah. We
away.
got a production line. We got
Yeah.
analytics. It's
Uh,
research and development. They got a whole thing.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But I think realistically, if we're talking how long it takes him to in and
So
out of a house,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think I think less than a minute.
Really.
Yeah, I
When
think
you
he could
think
do
about
it
it,
in
less than a
30
minute.
seconds or less.
So call it 30 seconds, and there's 1.5 million households. Okay, say if he only goes into 750k of them at 30 seconds each, like that's still a long time.
I think yeah,
Uh,
30 seconds or less.
what about like in flats? What if there's like a multi, a block of flats with 30 floors on it or whatever. Right? He
Well,
lands
that's
on the
why I
roof
think
and he needs to
that's why
deliver
I
to
think
Jimmy on the third floor. How does he do that?
well that's why I think the gaseous form theory is correct
Right.
because he can just as mist or whatever
But
mist
yeah.
like thing he chooses to transform into, he can just sort of seep it down and go through the window.
But I mean, if it's that reliable, then why doesn't he just ditch the reindeer, retire them?
Well, that
Um.
this is why I think the leaving cookies out thing is necessary. I think it requires so much energy for him to do that he can
Yeah.
only do
Yeah.
it in like couple-minute bursts.
And also another thing is obviously in different households they leave different things out for him.
Yeah.
So like,
So he gets a nice variety in what he eats.
well, yeah, but the other thing is so I don't know if it's the thing over there, but obviously I know this sort of American norm is like sort of milk and cookies, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas over here it's normally like a mince pie and like a glass of sherry, some sort of alcohol or whatever. So if he's having a little swig of sherry in every single house he goes to, like he's just gonna, you know what I mean? That's gonna be difficult.
Well, he's been alive for centuries, so I think his constitution is pretty good. I mean,
He's
eggnog,
yeah,
eggnog. Yeah.
man has got a liver of steel.
I think he's perpetually sourced,
Yeah.
just constantly drunk. That's how he came up with the whole Christmas idea.
It's like, what if they're like, no, this isn't gonna work. It's like, no, 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 no. What if there's like reindeers?
You know what?
They
I think
fly. Huh? Oh.
I think the whole Christmas thing started from a hold my beer moment. He said, "You know what? I reckon I could get
It's a
a
bet in the
present
pub.
to every house
Yeah.
in the world in one night." Like, no, you can't. You're full of shit. You're full of shit, Nick.
It
You
was yeah.
can't do it. You
Fucking
cannot
Nick.
do it. And he's hold my beer.
It is literally a bet in the
It's
pub
a pub
moment.
bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pub bet. He's hanging around at the North Pole with all the elves. They're
Yeah.
sitting there riffing on each other, wondering what they're going to do with their lives.
Yeah.
And drunk old Nick
Yeah.
came up with the most brilliant scam ever.
See the other idea I've got is well the other thing I think about is, like I'm probably saying that, like when the postman goes about, the mailman,
Yeah,
and normally he's got like a little trolley thing,
right.
or like if he's got quite a lot, he'll have like a little trolley thing. If he's not in a van, he'll have a little trolley thing. What they sometimes do here is, like, if they've got like a line of houses to deliver to, he won't like pull up outside one, get a letter out, go inside, then then move his trolley up. He'll like get a load out, leave his trolley where it is, and then come back for it. To be a bit more
Yeah,
efficient. Do you think he does that? Because think about it, like if he's landing on your roof and then he needs to go to your neighbour's house, like has he really got to take off and land again? Like,
yeah.
that
I
is.
think I think he lands in like a cluster of houses,
Yeah, yeah,
grabs his sack, and just zips around
yeah.
as
Oh, it's presents.
mist
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
because he can just really quickly zip in and out.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess that's probably how it is. But but still, we're talking. Did I say does it? Does it? So again, we're talking. He's got 750,000 houses to go to in New Zealand. If he's taking the whole naughty nice list on, okay, and then say if he begins that at, because he doesn't have much time to do it, does he? When you
Here's my
really think
problem.
about it,
Here's
yeah.
my problem.
Okay.
Actually,
Is it
no. I just thought,
is that a plot
what
hole
if,
in the
right?
law? Yeah.
Yeah, there is a plot hole,
Okay.
but it's not necessarily with the law. It's with Christmas movies. But
Okay.
okay, I'll get to that in a second. But what if, because his sleigh is being pulled by living creatures that are sentient? I mean,
Yes.
that whole thing with the Rudolph,
Yeah.
he knows what he's up to. What if
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
are in constant motion and he doesn't
Right.
actually land?
It's like a drive-by.
Yeah, he does drive by and then he turns in and out of mist form and just zips back and forth between the sleigh and the houses. And he's just like bop 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 bop.
Maybe.
Because if he's doing it in a couple seconds each house,
Yeah,
like
that's
he's
that's a
just in
little
and
bit
out.
more doable, isn't it? If it's like
Yeah,
we're flying like over an estate and it's and in
yeah,
that time he's done like a row of 5 houses, then that's
yeah.
a little bit more viable.
Because they're sentient, so they can just keep going. They know the
Yeah.
route. They've been doing this shit for hundreds of
What
years.
what about when there's like a new housing estate? Do you think it really fucks up his route? He's like, I know we take a nice shortcut there, but they've,
It's
they've bloody put a
well, I
block of
mean,
flats
it's
up.
probably there's probably at least like 6 committee meetings throughout the year,
Yeah, yeah.
and they just got to constantly be updating the route, and it's just
And
like,
then
oh
there's like
god,
route planners. They're like finding the
yeah.
optimal route for him every year. They're
That's
like,
why it
yeah,
takes,
yeah,
yeah.
we got we got roadworks on the on the
I mean,
A526, so avoid
it
that.
wouldn't be too unusual because they have to constantly change it because of the naughty and nice list.
Yeah,
So he'd probably have this whole section of the North Pole, like just a team of elves that are dedicated to the route
yeah.
planning,
Okay.
and they coordinate with the naughty and nice team.
Yeah, yeah. I have another theory.
Right.
Okay, you ready? Multiple Santas.
Multiple Santas.
Multiple Santas. Think about it. If you told a postman that he was doing the entire town, he'd be like, "What? Are you insane? Like, how am I going to do that? Like, I can't get
Yeah, but
that done
he's
in a
not
day's
magical.
work."
He's
Well,
only
no,
a
he's
man.
he's not
Santa is
magical,
magical.
but what if there were, if he's that magical, can he not? Can he create clones? Can he, he must have over the years he must have thought of more efficient way. He's got a whole workshop of elves that make fantastic things.
It's possible. I mean, it's possible. It's possible he has one on each continent.
Yeah,
And
but
then here's how they could
yeah,
do
yeah,
it,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
When Christmas time comes, he like rises into the air and then splits up, and they each at the same time depart for the various continents.
Right.
and then they just all do the magical juju and they handle the continent all in one night.
Yeah. The other thing that I'm thinking
And
is
then there's probably, or if they don't like split up and then come back together,
yeah.
maybe they are separate the entire time, and then there's like big arguments throughout the year who has to do each continent. Because
Oh
some
yeah, he's
continents
like,
would be
oh, I
easier
did.
than others.
But yeah.
And it's like, I did North America last year. I don't want to do it again. God.
Yeah.
You do it, Santa number 7.
Yeah. So okay. So the other thing is, so we're going with the drive-by format.
Yeah,
So we can do like bang,
that's
bang,
how I
bang, bang,
think he
bang,
does it.
5 in a row. How does he sort of on the fly know? Because say if there's a row of 5 houses, what if we've got like a nice naughty, naughty, nice naughty? Like how does that must be really difficult to sort of you can't just zip in bang, 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 bang. He's got to know that one. Oops, skip these two. And of course, he's not just bunging any old present down. He's had to,
Well,
you
okay.
know,
So,
the logistics team. They've been through the lists and they've gone right. Okay, so he's getting this, he's getting that, and so on.
well, we're going with the Santa is magical, right?
Of course,
So, but we have a magical Santa in the modern world. So we've got all the logistics teams and all of that, and they're setting it up.
of
But you got
course.
to also combine that with magic. So he would probably have some sort of device that would magically signal, okay, this is nice house, this is naughty house. It would
Okay.
sort of give him a sense of direction. Maybe it's as simple as something that glows a certain color.
Yeah.
So like
Because
green for the good ones, red for the bad ones. So if
yeah.
he accidentally goes to the wrong one, it's all like no, 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 and it just sort of would. It could be something like a ring or an amulet that sort of that when it flashes its power, like it goes off, and it sort of would give him a sensory direction
Right.
towards where he's supposed to go.
Okay. Do you
He like
think
Santa is either a wizard or he has wizards on the payroll.
yeah. Do you think there's ever been like a case of like wrong house, you know what I mean? Like how many John Smiths has he got delivered to in one night? You know what I mean? There might even be two in the same street. Like and one wants a set of golf clubs and one wants, like a new guitar.
Way in the early days, I think there would have been quite a few of those when he was first setting up his operation.
Yeah.
When back before he had all the modern amenities with logistics teams and like
Of
all of
course,
that.
yeah. When he was just like a little indie business, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been a lot of
Startup
mess
courier
ups.
service, yeah.
A lot of packages just didn't get delivered. It's just some people got what they shouldn't have gotten. Like little Timmy wanted a bicycle, but he got a pony instead. I mean, he was still happy, but it's
Yeah.
not what he wanted.
Yeah.
And things like that. But now I think it's just like a well-oiled machine.
'Cause
It just
I think
operates
the thing
smooth.
is that we're thinking more sort of, um, realistically about how it could work. Him being magic, of course. But in the films, they sort of get it wrong. You know what I mean? You see him come down the
That's
chimney or
see,
whatever,
this is
right?
exactly
Right, and it's like oh he looks around and oh there's the tree.
yeah,
Little dog
yeah.
barks, oh, ruff, and he like you know he like bends down to
Feeds
pet
the
it, and he's
dog,
like
and the dog
shh
loves
and
him.
whatever, and the dog loves him, and then he
Yeah,
sits down and he eats his
yeah,
cookies and
yeah,
sips the milk, and then he fucking gets to work. Then he plonks a sack down and you
yeah.
know gets a list out and goes right. So little Jennifer, right? She wanted My Little Pony. Uh, her her 19-year-old brony brother. Oh yeah, he wanted My Little Pony as well. It's like going through all that.
Yeah, no, this is the exact thing I was going to bring up
Do you
earlier.
think Rudolph's like waiting on the roof, like, come on, mate, like we gotta,
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you know how many
No,
deliveries we got to do tonight? We can't,
this
we
is the
can't be messing
problem
about.
with Christmas movies. Is it's he gets in there and he fucks about.
He
It's like,
does,
what are you
yeah.
doing, Santa? What are you doing? You have an entire world to finish off. Like, am I supposed to believe that this random house is just happens to be the last one,
Yeah,
so you can take your time now? No.
um,
In fucking middle America? No.
yeah. But who
No.
who who does he visit last? I guess sort of Western US. I guess is sort of the last people that he he visits, or yeah, I guess so.
Maybe I don't
Uh,
know.
but it must be. I'm sure we could work it out time zone wise. But yeah, what if he's just fucked about in? He did Australia and New Zealand, pretty quick. Then he moved through Asia. Yeah, doing great, doing great. And then he just decides to sort of slack off in the middle of Europe. Then what if Western America, they don't get their presents because he's just messing about in Europe. He's lost time.
I mean, it's unacceptable. These
Yeah,
movies, they just do it wrong.
yeah,
It triggers me because it's like, what are you doing? And then like some little kid inevitably discovers him, and it's like, well, now you've just breached the masquerade, Santa. Good job.
yeah. And that's one guy in one town. Is he saying that that's the only kid that's going to see him across the entire world? If he's that careless, is he? I don't know. In the age of CCTV these days as well, you know what I mean? Like everyone's got cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
Unless he's got security teams that work on looping footage and so on. Quite possibly, we did talk
I
about.
mean, I mean, he must. He
Yeah,
must. I mean, the
yeah,
team probably handles that. Like, there's just malfunctions throughout that night.
yeah. Just just a little fizzle when you
A
look
little,
back on the
yeah, a little
footage,
glitch. A
and then
little
when you go
glitch.
back, there's just like stack of presents, your cookies are gone.
It could be, instead of just as a means to trigger and upset me, that these Christmas movies are propaganda,
Right.
false information, keep people guessing. They just think, oh well, oh, Santa's all careless and he just runs in and it's all like personal, and
Yeah.
like you could potentially catch him, but then the reality is like he's just in and out. You're never gonna see him.
No.
Keep you on your toes. You're looking at the wrong place.
Yeah, even if you literally sat there in your living room staring at the tree with wide eyes, you might see like, a little bit of gas. Maybe not even. It would literally just be bang, you see your shit disappear. There's your presents, he's
Oh
gone.
well, if you're awake, according to the law, he knows.
He
He
knows
knows
when you're
when you're awake.
sleeping.
Yeah.
He knows when you're awake.
So if you're awake, he's just not going to give you presents. So you better
But
go to bed.
I know, but what if you've got like some serious insomnia? Do you know what I mean? What if you live in like a studio apartment? Do you know what I mean? And there's nowhere else for him to deliver your presents. It's all like one room, and you're just like laying up, like, oh, I just can't sleep.
Well, he puts it where you're not looking, but he knows when you're awake. So you got to at least roll over and face the wall.
Yeah,
Have some courtesy.
yeah. What they should do is Christmas not music, Christmas movies, or the Christmas law people. They need to like they must have a pretty good budget by now. You know what I mean? The amount of advertising that Christmas gets.
Yeah,
They must have a fairly good budget, and to pay the payroll. I can't even begin to imagine it. They work throughout the year. They're not there in June just sitting about. They're always working, I'm sure,
yeah.
trying to
I
make
mean, there's
the operation more efficient.
a lot of toys to make.
Exactly. Yeah, which is quite difficult because, when the kids submit their Christmas letters, that we're talking start December. So, that's pretty good turnaround time.
Yeah, I mean, well, there are kids that submit it as early as January. You know.
Really? How do
Yeah.
kids know what they want that far in advance?
I mean, I always knew what I wanted for Christmas. I didn't necessarily get it, but I always knew what I wanted. I was the easiest kid to shop for.
See, I'd like see something that I wanted in January and be like, oh wow, yeah, that's it. That's what I'm for Christmas. And then, maybe I put it on a Christmas list. And then in June it's like the new coolest toy must have. Then I'm like, oh god, I've already asked for that other like lame toy in January now, you know?
Well, I'd get a little bit lucky because my birthday's in February, so I'd be like, yeah, I want
Uh,
that. I want that for my birthday.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I basically would get Christmas presents, and then a couple months later,
See,
birthday.
I'm almost with the lucky few. To have a June birthday, that's good. My birthday's in May. Yeah, I mean June birthday, bang, halfway through the year, presents. December, bang, presents. It's a nice half and half.
Yeah, I occasionally got the okay, you can have something small for your birthday because we got you more on Christmas.
Yeah, but say if your birthday was in June or whatever,
Yeah,
and you got like a good present for Christmas, that's like 5 6 months of saving and so on.
this really is the Christmas episode, isn't it?
It, yeah, it's been half an hour.
God damn it.
The Christmas law.
The Christmas. We just
Uh,
talked about the mythology of Santa and
I,
his magical powers.
I think we've pretty much covered it.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
think we figured out Santa.
Yeah. Well, there's a few different. I think to say that it's one man that does it in this time. Think about it, even if one house takes him 3 seconds, 2 seconds. There's a million households in a country to get through.
But you got to
That's
remember, you cut it down by a lot for who are on the nice list because it wouldn't really be that many people. A lot of people are complete douchebags, even little kids.
yeah. But
And I think Santa is very harsh,
but
but
either way,
very
so,
fair.
say if we're talking, a country with, you know, 10 million house, whatever, a lot of households. Even if 3 million of them get presents, if you're spending a few seconds in each one, that's I just don't see how that's viable unless there's multiple Santas.
I
Or
mean,
unless he
maybe.
does like a present bombing, you know what I mean? Like he's just got such precision. It could be
Yeah,
that, like
like
sort of a
it's
homing a
it's
homing present sort of situation. You know what I mean? He's
he
got all the houses loaded in
throws them
as
like
he's
ninja
going.
stars.
Yeah, all the whole gaseous form. If he's going over just through the chimney, bang, there's your stuff.
I mean, it's entirely possible. He's just zipping back and forth. He's just throwing the presents. Like
Yeah.
he's just doing it.
Just hope no one wants like, an antique china set, like tea set for Christmas. He's just fucking lobbing it out of his sleigh as he's going over.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like, oh no, looks like it was damaged in transit, Jimmy.
Well, like Jimmy was good, but he wasn't that good. So it's a
Yeah,
warning.
yeah, it's like passive aggressiveness.
Yeah.
uh, so I think that's about that's about it for the lore of Christmas, unless anything else comes
Yes.
to us.
Yes.
Uh, I believe you had some. I've got something else for you to talk about. But you had some questions relating to.
Well,
Was it
I
relating
think
to Christmas or was it just relating
no,
to
just related to Britishisms.
Britishisms?
Uh, but first, before we do that, I think we
Okay.
need to address
Oh,
the elephant in the room.
the uh, the the food elephant in the room.
The food elephant in the
I
room.
was that was literally just about to say about that. Well, so you might
Yeah.
remember last podcast. Was it last podcast or the one before? I can't remember. I think it was the last one.
There's so
Uh,
many.
I know. I just lose track of them. I think it was our last podcast.
Yeah.
We spoke about. It was in How Do, our new segment, which we'll probably
Yes.
maybe think of something for by the end of the podcast.
I think the Santa one is the how do for this one.
Pretty much, yeah. How does a man
How
deliver
does he do it?
to like millions of households
Yeah.
in a single night? Um,
Mm.
yeah. So it was. I said, how do you get a job taking pictures of food for like takeaway menus and McDonald's? And Wolf said, oh, it's just it's just some guy, someone just knows a guy and like, oh, just, oh, Dave, can you take some pictures for me? Or
Or
they'll
that
do it
they're part of the
themselves,
marketing team.
part of the marketing team. But it turns out
Which,
we've
in my defense, most companies do have a marketing team,
well,
and
they
then
are,
some guy in that handles that. But
but due to a huge backlash we've had, like two or three
yeah,
people
yeah,
um have actually informed us that food photography is very, very much a thing. Um,
I'm still not convinced.
I mean, it is. I've since looked it up.
I
All the
agree
evidence
that
is
it is a
there.
thing. I agree that it is a thing. I agree that there
Well,
are
you
people
said,
who make money doing food photography, but
but their
but
entire living is not what you believed. You didn't believe there was a
I
single person that wakes up in the morning, goes out, takes picture of food, goes home,
right,
goes to bed, wake up
right.
the next morning, takes some picture of food. Like, but that is the
I
case.
I know, I don't believe that. I
No,
do not believe it. People might advertise it online as if and act like that's what all they do, but I do not believe that there's like Dave,
I'm sure
the
there is
food
like a
photographer, and that is
yeah.
100% of what he
There,
does.
there is. We literally. Can't remember if you're
I
with me,
have
but we
found
literally
I have
looked.
found no evidence to suggest that that is the entirety of what they do.
Maybe not all of them. You know what I mean? There are amateur food photographers, sure, and they specialize in other things. But there are literally, you know, that there are. We were joking like, oh, imagine being like a famous food photographer. There are literally people that make their living, and they are the go-to guy for
Yeah.
food photography, and that
I mean,
is
yeah,
their
there,
living.
there there are people who are like the go-to guy. I agree to that now. I have since learned this, but I do not believe that that is 100% of their income. I do not believe it.
What, anyone? You don't believe that anyone can do that?
And maybe there's like one guy, like
No, no,
he's the
there's not just going to
artiste.
be one guy.
I don't believe that there's like an entire group of people that 100% of their time
I,
that
yeah,
with work stuff
I
is
reckon there's
taking
thousands
pictures
of
of
them.
food. No, no, I refuse to believe it. You can challenge me in the comments. I
But
don't
this,
care. I don't believe
but
it.
the facts are there. We've
I
we've
have
looked at
found
it.
no evidence of this. I found no evidence. I am adjusting my position that
uh,
yes, it's a thing.
yeah, it is a thing, and it's not just Larry from the. Oh, Larry,
Yes,
can you go take a picture of that Big Mac
it's
over
not
there?
just
Like it
your
is.
cousin Gaza. No,
Yeah.
it is a thing. It is real. I will admit fault on that, but
Okay.
I don't believe that it's 100% of someone's income. Like that is all that they do. No, I refuse. I refuse. I refuse. No,
Well,
no.
which actually, this nicely brings me back to Christmas in Australia.
All right, yeah,
So obviously, Christmas is all about advertising. Like, I imagine, I don't, I know you don't really watch much TV, but like all you get on TV around this time of year is like Christmas advertising shit, isn't it? It's like, oh, buy
yeah,
this for Christmas, do this, blah 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 blah. Are
yeah.
those adverts still snowy? Like,
Uh,
or
yeah.
what if it's
Some of
not?
them
What
are.
if it is
Some of them
literally
are.
an Australian advert? Like, specifically for for like an Australian
It
toy
depends.
chain or whatever, being like,
It
"Good day, come get your toys for Christmas" or whatever.
it it
Like,
it depends. Like we have ones that are all snowy and stuff and all of that, and yeah, it is very weird. But we do
yeah,
have ones where you got Santa rocking up in a pair of thongs.
yeah,
Like I saw one where it sort of showed Santa on. This was recently actually. But it sort of showed Santa on like the off season, and he's at like some cattle farm
okay,
out in the desert.
right, uh-huh.
Um, and he's just hanging about this farm, and then he has a beer, and he's good to go.
Yeah,
I don't know, it was some beer ad. I don't know,
okay,
but
okay,
yeah. And then there's ones that Santa's at the beach and stuff like that. So yeah, there are
okay.
Australian themed ones, but then there are the standard kind of all snowy or
Yeah,
like there's ones where it shows that it's Australia and it's all hot and it's all that, but then Santa
yeah.
comes and he makes it snow and things like that.
Oh my God, imagine if that happened. Just the chaos.
Oh, it'd be absolute chaos. We wouldn't know what to do. We'd have no idea. We'd just be like, "What? Snow?
What is this? Why is the sand so white? Why is it falling from the sky? Uh, but yeah, like I was thinking specifically like food adverts. Those are the ones that always look like really cozy. It's like a family, and it's like we've got. Have you got Waitrose there? I presume you don't because it sounds incredibly
I
British.
don't think so.
Okay, well we've got a supermarket chain called Waitrose or Marks and Spencers, and they are like. I mean, I could probably upset some people. they're Ponzi shops. They're the ones that, oh yes, we only shop at Waitrose. It's like you've got a bit of money, you go into Waitrose for your Christmas, Christmas groceries or whatever. But those adverts, they're always like they look so cozy, and it's like a family sitting
Yeah.
around. There's like a fire roaring or whatever, and it's like, oh, we got our turkey from Waitrose. Oh, it only cost us this much. You know. But do you have the same thing with
we
your
don't
Christmas food?
we
Do you know what
don't
I mean? Because
have
it's not really like, who has a Christmas dinner there of like turkey and
well
potatoes? Is
actually
that still a
c-
thing?
Christmas dinner isn't actually much of a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I've had like a big deal around Christmas dinner. The big thing here, and if any other Australians watch this, they can probably confirm this. But the
Yeah.
big thing here for most places is Christmas lunch.
Christmas lunch.
Yeah, and most of the food adverts and things like that, you'll find they usually take place outside.
Wow. I mean, that is that's insane. Because as I say, none of them would take place outside here. It's all cozy, sitting around a a table, going, "Oh, we can't wait for our Christmas dinner,"
No,
and then like,
here it's
yeah,
outside and getting as much wind and breeze on you as possible
yeah. Like
because
just
it's
trying
hot.
to feel cold.
It's hot. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
Christmas lunch, and usually like a big table of people around, like at a park or something.
So when you say Christmas lunch, like that's not like someone busts out the Tupperware and there's like a full turkey in there.
I
Like
mean, we'll have turkey.
but you have like cold meats and stuff.
Yeah,
It's not
we
like
have like a
literally some
mix.
is like literally.
No, you have a mix. So you
Right.
have like the like roast chickens, the hams.
Yeah.
Uh, the ham's usually cold.
Yeah.
So you get a mixture of hot foods like turkey and chicken and
Is
stuff
it more
like
like
that.
sort of buffet sort of thing? You like
Yeah, yeah,
bash
yeah,
it out.
yeah. And
Funny enough. Yeah.
you get your cold meats, you get your hot meats, and then a lot of prawns and a lot of seafood.
Well, that is interesting because it is just like it's the same. You know, Santa must get really hot as well. Because what do you say the time frame is that he delivers between? What's his delivery window? Some people get up as early as like 6 a.m. to open their presents, don't they? Like people with little kids, they're super
Well,
excited.
he'd have to be done by like 4:35.
Right. Okay, that's
No,
all very
I mean
specific.
4:30 or 5. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you meant exactly 4:35. It's just a very specific time. Right.
No, 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 no.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because he must get warm. Do you know what I mean? Like again, how he's sort of. Do you think when he's in Australia, he is just like rocking songs? He just like comes down in
Yeah,
shorts, or are we talking
yeah,
the
yeah.
whole he's magical? He doesn't really care about temperature. But then why would he wear like
Probably
the big coat?
probably he's magical, and the coat and that is just a uniform.
But no one sees it.
His people do, because they all have uniforms.
I guess. Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
Like
The
they
elves
probably
don't
like
like
all the
have
elves
casual
have different
Friday.
ranks.
Yeah.
They probably have a ranking system. Because if you think about it, if you actually look at his
Back to
outfit,
Christmas law.
of
Yeah.
course, if you
Yeah.
look at his actual outfit, that wouldn't be very warm at all. It would not protect you against the cold.
No. Do you think it's the same one that he wears every year as well?
Probably. Maybe he's like a vampire and he just sleeps until it is time.
Until he is awakened again.
It,
He returns home, just like
yeah, he
my
returns to
job
the
is
earth.
done, and he just like
He returns to the earth,
slowly
and then
falls
it's
back
yeah, and then it's
into
elves, and they manage everything, and then they have a ritual
yeah.
every year where it's
To
the
summon him,
awakening.
they put like a mince pie in the middle of a circle.
We must awaken him.
Ho ho ho! And he just like rises.
Yeah, just like a
Yeah,
hundred of the highest ranked elves.
yeah.
They're in like a semicircle around his tomb. and they've
Santa's
got
tomb.
they got the milk and cookies and the mince
Yeah.
pies,
Have like a
and
blood
they're all just
sacrifice.
chanting. Yeah,
Yeah.
they sacrifice the weakest elf,
Yeah.
and they spill the blood over the cookies
Oh
and
God.
the milk,
Oh.
and they're all just chanting ho 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 ho, and that is the awakening ritual of Santa.
Oh, that's heartwarming.
The
Yeah.
magic of Christmas.
You are the weakest.
Well, I figure it's like a great honor to be chosen. Like, and then they
Yeah,
have like the blood is the life kind of chanting. Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
And it's all like a very dark tone, and then he just comes out of his tomb. Oh, oh, look at this mess. Oh, 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 oh. Just
It's
like
like the Mr. Hanky from South Park.
oh yeah,
He just comes out like
yeah.
"Hard-ho!"
Yeah.
You know, like he's traditionally very jolly. So like yeah, he is a creature of ultimate darkness, but that doesn't mean he has to be in a bad mood all the time.
Yeah, or do you think he's very like efficient? You know what I mean? He gets up and he's like, right, list, talk to me. Right, new toys this year.
Well, it
What's
depends.
trending?
It he
How
probably
many
gets
numbers
like
we talking?
yeah,
Reindeer's ready to go. You know what I mean? Like, is
yeah,
he must be efficient. You know what I mean? He doesn't. We spoke about the Christmas films. It's like, ho
right.
ho ho, all my elves, you've been working very hard this year. You know, he's not in a rush to do
Yeah.
anything. But I feel like if
It
there was this big summoning ritual, he would have to be, bang, he's up, coats on, sleigh, go.
I think it really depends on when the ritual takes place because if they wake him uh like right when he needs to leave,
Yeah,
then yeah, he's got to be all business. But if he
yeah, yeah.
gets like maybe a week beforehand, he could probably take a day or two.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, yeah, maybe. I guess that could work. And you know, in the week again, he's been brought up with like, right, what's hot this year? And it's like Fortnite, and he's like, oh God, I knew it. And you know, it's like Jimmy wants a Fortnite figure, so does he, so does he. You know, we've made.
Yeah,
He just checks all the numbers or whatever. Okay, so I need to deliver 26 million, you know, Fortnite figures. Have you got them? And
yeah,
he's like, yeah, we made 30 million. You know, we knew it was going to be a hot toy this year, even before we got the lists in.
yeah. Like I think he's got like Tom the elf, who's like his number two
Tom,
guy,
yeah,
and like he's been crushing it for centuries. So Tom
yeah,
Tom knows what he's doing. He
yeah,
delegates. Santa's very good at delegating, and I think he would just take that time after the ritual to sort of gather his power
yeah, yeah.
for the journey he must undertake. So
So,
he'd probably just be a bit
yeah,
relaxed,
yeah,
but he'd check in with things like Tom, tell me the numbers, you know, as he's sipping on more blood of the innocent.
yeah, yeah, of the
Um,
elf, yeah.
yeah, he's got his cup. He's got his cup of milk that's had some blood sprinkled
Okay,
into it, and he's just sort of
Miss,
gathering
is there a
power to
Mrs.
himself.
Claus as well? Because that's
Yes, that's a thing.
right. So where's she? You know, does she just wait around for her husband to wake up for an entire year? What does she do? You know, is she
Well,
part of the operation, or does she? You know,
see,
she just work in local supermarket?
she's a mysterious figure, you know. There's not a
Well,
lot of lore on
yeah,
her. Like
of course that
I
they
think
all are,
she's
aren't they?
probably
Yeah.
she's probably in charge when he's resting.
Okay, yeah, yeah, like it would be. You know,
When
if you
he's
worked
in
in some,
torpor,
yeah, yeah,
she manages things. She oversees everything. I mean, Tom's really the guy that handles things. So
yeah,
it's like
but
you would go to Tom and not Mrs. Claus. Like, don't bother
yeah,
her.
of course,
Like,
yeah.
she's got a lot on her mind.
It's like equivalent of going straight to the boss. Like you know, you don't always want to go straight to the boss, you know, because it can't be of that
Well, I
importance.
mean,
You
it's
go
like
to the
Tom's
guy
the
under the
boss,
boss.
but Santa's the CEO, and well, he's like
Yeah.
the majority shareholder, I guess. He's the owner. Mrs. Claus
His
is
name's in all the
like,
documents. Yeah.
yeah, she's probably got a very prominent position in the company. Maybe
Yeah.
Tom's even the CEO.
Yeah. So
He's very high up in
quite
management.
possibly, yeah. It's that sort of thing. But of course, Mr. and sometimes Mrs. Claus are sort of the face of the brand, as we've said.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but Tom would handle the minutia of the day to day.
of course, yeah. But I just don't get what's actually in it for pretty much anyone working at this establishment. Of course, you could say like Santa doesn't necessarily have anything if he is some sort of satanical. I mean, not necessarily satanical. So I mean, Santa, Satan, not far off. But
Evil creature of ultimate darkness.
yeah, he is woke. So he doesn't necessarily have to have that is his reason for existing, to deliver.
Right. Right.
But what about the rest of them? What what are they in it for?
Well,
'Cause
it's
it's not.
think about any cult, really. I mean, if you analyze the motivations
Yeah,
behind cult members and you try to
yeah,
think of why do you think this is a good idea, it doesn't make any sense. But that's how blind faith works. Is they
right.
will just do things because that is what they have been led to
So
believe. And I sincerely believe that all the elves and Santa, it's just this whole ritualistic cult mentality. And so it is just, this is the way. And so there's probably some grand design or ultimate purpose to it, at least in their own beliefs. Like
okay,
how a cult will believe that if they follow this cult leader, they will be led into the promised land or whatever. Like with them,
yeah,
they're probably going to bring about some new world order with, and it's just been going on so long now that it's just about the ritual. It's just they got to just keep going.
yeah. So where do you think the first elves came from? Do you know what I mean? He's got this.
I think he created them.
He's got this hot startup or whatever, and presumably he's had to go to, he's either been left a bit of money or he's had to get a loan or something,
Right.
because this stuff doesn't come from nowhere. I imagine because all the elves live in, don't they? They don't have homes that they go to. I imagine it's a sort of live-in thing, isn't it? And then they have
I
kids,
think
and kids grow
they'd
up,
have
and they
like,
work for him as well.
I think they have like a dormitory complex,
Right. Okay. So it
like a
pretty much
little
is
bunk.
all in house. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's no sort of
yeah. He
um
has like a complex, and there's like
yeah.
the
So we're
residential.
not talking cheap here. To
Oh no!
house.
I
He's
mean,
got a lot
what
of
else?
elves, hasn't he?
What else
So
is at the North Pole?
well,
He's got a
no.
lot of real estate there.
Yeah. So that's got to have come from somewhere. So he must have gone in from, imagine that. So you're okay. You're a bank manager now. Okay, you ready? Okay. So I walk in. I just go. Can I come in?
Sorry, we're closed.
No.
No,
Okay. I won't.
no.
Okay. And I go in and go.
Yeah.
Ho ho! Hello there.
Hello, strange man.
Hello, I'm trying to start up a new company. I've got this great idea. I need to get a loan.
A new company? Well, what sort of
Yes.
company? I mean, I can't just be giving out loans here.
Well,
Like,
of course,
what
yes.
sort of
It's
company?
it's a company. It would be based out in the North Pole. There's nothing else there. I've
The,
checked.
the North Pole?
The North Pole. Yes. Keep up. And
Uh,
what I'll be doing is I'll be creating presents. I'll have a small team of workers. Aim to grow in the next 5 to 1,000 years.
right.
A small team will build presents and
So how
deliver
we
them every year.
deliver them to whom?
The good boys and girls of the world.
And these workers. Tell me about these. Where are you gonna
Well,
get these workers?
I've been looking. It seems like there's a small community of elves that could maybe do with a bit of work, a little bit of convincing. Obviously, the right price. I'm planning to have a on-site complex of dormitories for them to live.
So you need the loan to be paying these people? Are you
Uh,
going to be paying the?
well, we'll sort that out. But mainly, I need a really big workshop and like
So
dormitories for the elves to live in.
so you would like a loan so
Yes,
that you can start a business, constructing presents
of
through the
course,
use
yes.
of slave labor of an indigenous population of the North Pole that you're going to capture and enslave for all eternity, so that you can break into the houses of small children across the world and give them presents.
Yes, I will be using a sleigh of flying reindeer to transport the presents.
Get out of my bank.
Okay. Except how it really went was, yeah, sure, sign here. You know, like he must
Righto.
have somehow, yeah, sure, sounds great.
No, he must have found the indigenous elves, and he must have captured and enslaved them,
Yeah.
worked them to
Well, I
nearly
guess
to the death.
if
And
they're
you
really
know,
that good at construction, they probably made the workshop. You know what I mean? I
that's what
don't
I'm
think.
saying. Like
Yeah, I guess.
he's there
Yeah,
with a whip,
because
telling them what to
in my
do.
head, he had the whole premises built and then went on like a job website and he was like, yeah, startup company looking for
Yeah,
reliable laborers long term, live in, you know, and he like put up the ad online, well, on the equivalent of the pole net at the North Pole, and
no. He would have had to capture them and enslave them, and
yeah, he
then
would have,
over time,
yeah.
he's converted them into worshiping him as this uh dark blood god.
Yes, yeah. So they have a bit like Stockholm syndrome
Yeah,
in a way.
yeah.
Yeah,
Over the generations,
yeah.
they've forgotten their own origins, and now it's just like he is their god, and they owe their existence to him. They have no purpose in life other
Yeah.
than to
And
sustain him.
I guess it's gone so far now that there's not like friends and family of the elves like, oh, you know, how's it going with the new job? Haven't heard from you in a while. It's become a self-contained community that all the
Right.
elves just live. You know, they're
Yeah.
born, they work, and they die in this community.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. 100%.
Must be a little bit difficult at first, you know. It's like, oh, if your friends and family ask you, you know, you've got this great new job, good benefits, so on and so forth. But now it's just accepted. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
born there, live there, die there.
You are in this horrible blood sacrifice religion of Santa.
Yeah,
It's like you have been chosen by Santa. You were the sacrifice this year, and they'd be like, "Oh my
and
god, yes!"
I
And
think
then
there's got to
that
be
elf that is selected, like he would be the one that all the elf women would try to breed with, because he's like the special chosen one. So
yeah. So
he'd get
I
a send off.
I guess it's
He
like
would
the
get a send.
I guess it's the whole like 72 virgins thing. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
like he knows he's going to a better place, right? So they'd be like, "You're the
Well,
chosen one," and all the elf
he
women would go and breed with him. So he'd have like a
no,
good time
he'd
before.
get the big send off party, and all
Okay,
because
yeah,
he's the chosen one, they'd all try to mate with him, and then that's how they keep that shit going.
right. I see. Yeah.
And then they get him really drunk because Santa likes a bit of eggnog,
Well, yeah, you know. Do you think that's all
so
produced
all
in
that
house as
alcohol's
well?
in his. Oh yeah, for sure. Like
You know that.
I picture this whole underground complex like it's a whole
Yeah,
city,
yeah.
right? This whole society underneath the earth.
And it's like sort of it could be, you know, drug usage as well. You know, it in reality it's like it's terrifying. Just oh god, there's like this elf. He's bleeding out. He's been the chosen one. You know, they've got blisters on their hands. They've been working so hard, but this gas is pumped in that it's like dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum, and they're like,
Oh yeah.
"Yay!" They're all skipping around and having a
Oh
great
yeah.
time making presents. You know, there's definitely nothing natural
Oh,
about that.
of course. I mean,
Uh,
they're
you
kept
know,
controlled. They're
you know
kept
who's
docile.
in control of what's in the food as well and drink. You
And
know,
but there's see that's where select few elves that are traders come in.
yeah,
They're a little bit more on the nose. So like Tom, right? Tom,
yeah,
Santa's a guy. Like
yeah,
he's been doing this a long time. He knows a
yeah,
bit more of the score than the other elves. So he would be managing sort of like,
yeah,
oh, we got to gas this area. They've been not as joyous today,
yeah.
or they get a few more happy
They
pills,
weren't singing loud enough earlier. Yeah.
and just manage problems as they arise. And
Do you think there's ever a case of
oh, that's probably what Mrs. Claus is. She is like the PR lady.
okay,
Like she is the fun officer. She
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
around. She's the morale officer.
But
Yes.
is she in on it though? Is she like, oh, you
Oh
look a
yeah.
little bit sad there. Why don't you have another cup of cocoa? And it's just laced with drugs.
Yeah, yeah, of
Yeah.
course. She's considered like a mystical creature like Santa, but she's not like blood god status. She's like
Yeah, she is
she's
a
still
ghoul, so to speak. Yeah, yeah,
she's still kind of like a divine creature, so she's considered divinity by the cult at large,
yeah.
but she's not like the main thing.
Of course, yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I mean, she's probably some sort of ghoul servitor or whatever, but
yeah.
or she is a similar creature to Santa, but she doesn't have to sleep the whole year.
Yeah, I think she's just another like we have the face of Christmas for us, or the face of the brand
Right.
is Santa. I don't think Santa probably gets involved that much with the elves, except to maybe when he wakes up, do a bit of false morale, like, ho ho, you've all been working hard. Ho, ho.
Yes, he's all like, "Yes, my children."
Yeah, but yeah. Maybe next year one of you can be the sacrifice, and they're like, "Oh boy, I hope so."
Oh,
But
pick
but
me.
but Mrs. Claus is sort of
Yeah.
their face of business.
Oh, of course, yeah. So he's like this sort of father figure
Yeah,
god type thing that's separate, but she's like in it. She's there every day. They see her all the time. She's
yeah,
going around making sure that they're towing the line.
yeah.
She's on the ground floor.
Do you think there's ever cases of like it's like dum 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 yeah psh, psh, there's just like say an elf. Quick, give me an elf name. Herbert. He's just like making
Herbert.
some. He's just making some toys. Dun 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 dun. And then bang, he hits something with the hammer, and then just the reality kicks in around him, and he starts like he's breathing a little bit, and they're like, "Is everything okay, Herbert? Would you like another drink?" And he's like, "No, no, I can't be doing this." Do you think like they ever like crack? You know what I mean? Like it can only
Oh,
be
of
so,
course, of course. Like
and
they
then they
they
get carried away. They're labeled insane, and that's it. Never seen again.
I mean, because aside from the big ritual every year, you'd have to like still sacrifice to Santa, right?
Yeah.
You'd have to feed him. So, every now and then, right? Like maybe Santa has like a bit of a blood orgy where he has to consume people
Fucking hell.
throughout the year, just to sustain
Yeah,
his unholy
yeah,
existence. And maybe there's an elf that just sees some of the blood rituals that are going on, and
yeah,
Mrs. Claus too. Maybe she has to consume an exorbitant amount of elves,
yeah,
and that's how she manages to stay
yeah.
awake throughout the year.
That's what I mean. Like complete accident. Like they're trying. They
Yeah, they're
don't do
just
it right in
walking
front of them.
along.
They try and keep it. Herbert's just like, oh, I don't believe it. We're out of.
Herbert's got the coffee tray.
Yeah, yeah.
He's going around asking the office, seeing if anyone wants any tea or biscuits.
And then someone's like, oh, I think Mrs. Claus mug was empty. She's just in there. And he's like, oh, great.
Yeah,
I'll pop in. Goes through
and
the
then
door.
there's just chaos, like just a
Yeah,
massacre. There's bodies in pieces everywhere.
yeah,
She's just ripped things to shreds. She's just feasting on like 20 different elves.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then he just cracks. And I think maybe like every couple of centuries, there's like some dissident that forms because he sees too much.
Yeah.
He tries to
Yeah.
escape, and then they got to hunt him. And the reindeer are
Very
probably
good trackers. Yeah.
yeah, they are very good trackers.
Because they've got to do something throughout the year. You know what I mean? Like.
They hunt down escapees and
Or
eat them.
do you think do you think they possibly have like uh say like in the police force you'd have like different sorts of dogs. You'd have like sniffer
Right,
dogs, specific, like they're not necessarily like combat dogs, they're just good at sniffing out drugs and all
right.
that stuff. Do you think they have like, obviously they've got transportation reindeer, their main thing is endurance, they're all about staying on the ball, flying right. But do you think they also have like hunting reindeer? You know what I mean?
Oh, of
Like
course. I mean, if you
they,
think that they got all the horns and that, they just gore people.
yeah,
And
yeah.
think about
Li-
this,
a
right?
little elf
All
running
the
just through the snow. He
all
doesn't
the
stand a chance.
images, all the images of reindeer that
Yeah,
associated with Christmas.
yeah.
Why don't they ever draw what's in their mouths? Do you know why? Because they have fangs.
Oh my god.
Santa's reindeer have fangs and they don't draw it. They always have closed mouths, or even when they have open mouths, they just don't draw what's there
Yeah.
because they have fangs, because they viciously tear apart any elves that try to escape.
You know, I think throughout the year they're fed this sort of, you know, they're fed elves and other things, and they are bred in such a way that carrots are like cocaine. Do you know what I mean? Like carrots are just whoa. Like they don't get carrots throughout the year, so that when they go out on Christmas night and people leave
Yeah,
carrots out for them, it's like a cocaine hit at every
yeah,
house.
yeah.
They're just bang. They're ready to
Of
go.
course.
They've been bred in such a way that carrots just get them going.
And that elf flesh is probably addictive. See, that's why the elves don't accompany Santa
Yeah,
on his
yeah,
trips at all, because the reindeers would just go mad because
yeah.
they've been bred to have a taste
Yeah,
for elf
because
flesh.
Santa's like, ho ho ho, I'll be back in a minute. I'm just going to this house, and he'd like, you know, go in his gaseous form. He'd go through, and then, you know, they'd be like, oh no, Vixen, what have you done? And there's just blood dripping out of his
Yeah,
mouth. It's
yeah.
just
I
like
mean,
half an elf left.
Once Santa isn't there to watch them, they'll just eat the nearest
Yeah,
elf. They
yeah.
can't have that. Also, I would totally watch this Santa movie. I would 100%
100%.
watch it.
Like, like the dark side of Christmas.
Yeah, yeah. We
You could
need to
actually.
make this movie.
Oh my god, can we even put this podcast out? This is over an hour of content. You know, realistically, how long is like, you know, a Hollywood blockbuster? You know, an hour and a half is pretty good, you know, enough time to get some lore in, a bit of action in there,
Yeah,
you know. So and we've just been spouting this out of nowhere. So if we actually sat down and we're like, right, let's make this film.
like let's work on the screenplay. Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah. This time next year in cinemas now.
Yeah,
Uh, a Brit and Aussie production, Santa, The Dark Side of Christmas.
yeah. And it'll be the first kind of like proper Christmas horror movie.
Yeah, or or it would be called like uh
I mean,
uh,
and Santa is public domain, so it's like you're not gonna get sued.
yeah. Yeah, I guess so, yeah. And you know, I think if you analyze a bit more, it's like he knows when you are sleeping.
Exactly.
He knows when you're awake. And you're like, oh fucking hell, like, alright, mate. Calm down.
And those are the kids that he feeds on.
Yeah,
He feeds on their innocent and their dreams.
yeah.
It's just
No, I would
Santa
100%
is a
watch
blood
this.
god.
Yeah,
He's a blood god. He's probably was part of some ancient civilization
you know, I'd love.
as their blood god, and he's
Yeah,
just sort of reinvented himself in the new age, and he's figured out a system to sustain his
yeah.
unholy existence.
So I can imagine the opening to The Dark Side of Christmas.
Yeah.
Copyright. Trademark of Brit and Aussie. You know, it would be like again, dun, 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 dun. You know, it'd be like all happy, all the elves, like it's Christmas as you know it. You know what I mean? It's happy or whatever. Da-da-da-da-da. And then maybe what happens is you see one of these elves becoming you know, it wearing off, and you see it through his eyes, and it's just like terrifying,
Oh
and
no,
you
I
just
got
hear
it.
this
I've got
screaming,
it.
ah, and then it just goes back to dun 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 dun. You know,
I've got it. I've got it. Here's how it starts, right?
yeah,
You have like an overview shot
yeah,
of the workshop, and you have your Christmas music playing, and
yeah.
like you
But
hear
from outside,
that
it
you
looks like, you know, Santa's
it's
workshop. It's like a neon
yeah,
sign.
it's
It's
like
like it's
Santa's
not
workshop.
shabby. It's not run down.
You see
It's
some elves
magical.
skipping around, that you hear the singing or whatever, and it just slowly pans out, and it gets further and further away, and you just get into the North Pole sort of wilderness, and it's just like a
Yeah,
snowstorm, and it's all scary,
yeah, yeah.
and you just see a single elf running, and
Just
he's all panicked. He's like,
yeah,
and he's just running through the snow, and
yeah.
he's like tripping and falling, but he picks himself back up, and he's just running, and he's like terrified, and then just
And it's
it
just like
just and
dashing through the
but,
snow.
like that, yeah. There's just Christmas music, like very. It's like off in the distance kind of thing,
Yeah.
You just hear it, and then just through the snowstorm, you just see like a red glow getting closer and closer and
And you
closer,
hear
and then
like just galloping.
and then just abruptly he gets gored by a reindeer, and it's Rudolph
Yeah.
with the glowing nose, and he's just gored him, and he just starts tearing into him, and that's the start.
And it's like, oh god, and then it just immediately cuts to dun 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 dun. Just
And
they're
then
all
it's
in the
just
workshop
like
happy again. Yeah.
no, it just cuts to like the intro credit scene where it's like
Oh,
just flashes like the
I
dark side of Christmas, whatever, and then Christmas music just blares.
you could have that a little bit later, or you could have like a new elf. You know what I mean? He's just started at the factory or
Yeah,
whatever, and he's just like,
after
wow, it's awfully happy here or whatever. And it's like, of course it is. Everything's great here.
yeah, you have the new
Yeah,
elf introduced, and he's like the main character, right?
yeah,
And you have that after the intro sequence with the old
with the
elf that got
goring.
murdered.
Yeah,
And then you just sort of have the plot could be literally this elf just sort of he's new, like he's young, he's just been brought into the workshop for the first time, he's
yeah,
learning everything, and then he just starts over the course of the movie just notices weird things.
yeah.
And then he hears about this one guy that ran away, and just like, yeah, so you have the goring, you have
Yeah, and it's
the
just little
title
things
screen come
like
up.
yeah, like the elf that works next to him. He's like, "See you tomorrow," but and he's like, "Okay, bye." And then he turns up next day. The elf's a little bit quiet. He looks at him and he's like, got a black eye. He's like, "You right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I ran into a door."
No, we do it like a full-on serious, like horror movie style,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
things are weird. People just start disappearing, and it's like there's this whole
yeah.
mystery around it. It'd be great. I would
Oh
watch.
yeah, I've watched the fuck out of that. I'm not even into horror movie. I'm a little pussy, but like, yeah, that would be good. And the whole thing that would make it so creepy is that almost however much is discovered, there's pretty much always Christmas music going on. You know what I mean? There's this underlying tone of
Yeah,
everything's fine. You know, they're all just getting
yeah,
on in
yeah,
the
yeah.
workshop or whatever.
Everything is fine.
Yeah,
This is fine. That yeah, exactly. And then even during the murder scenes and stuff like that, you just have Christmas music playing.
yeah.
Right. So that's the movie. We're making the movie.
The dark side of
That's
Christmas.
Dark Side Christmas.
Wow.
Stay tuned. That's happening.
Yeah.
If anyone steals our idea, we will sue.
Yeah. We definitely will. That is. Hold on. Let me just Google it. Dark side of Christmas. Oh. I mean, there is an article called "The Dark Side of Christmas."
That's fine. That's fine.
Uh,
Working title. But
yeah. Working
this
title.
this this will be evidence of our
Christmas
idea.
horror
So
movie. Gremlins, Krampus. Nah, that's not actually a Christmas horror story.
we could do
It's
this.
not.
There'd be nothing else like it.
Yeah, I think that would
We
be
should
that
we
would
should
really
start a GoFundMe. We should
like
start a
proper
GoFundMe.
like dystopian sort of. Yeah, that would be really good.
We'll start a GoFundMe.
Yeah,
We'll get a team together. It'll be a Christmas miracle.
yeah.
uh,
I think our Christmas blockbuster is it's gonna be great. We'll genuinely
of
keep
course.
talking about it. Like
It'll be a sensation.
like this wasn't just a throwaway. Like, oh, this will be a funny thing to talk about in the podcast. We will legitimately come up with more ideas and like.
Yeah. Every podcast will maybe talk, or maybe throughout our streams and stuff like that. We'll just talk a little bit about it. We'll formulate an actual plot.
Yeah, we'll actually get a script written.
Yeah, we'll get a script over. It might take us like 8 years, but
some
concept
concept art. Yeah,
it'll be amazing.
But enough about Christmas. There's
Right.
been the Christmas podcast. There you go. There's some Christmas stuff.
Yeah, you got me to talk about Christmas.
I know, for over and out, but I mean,
you made it interesting.
yeah, that is. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Just an elf getting gored everywhere. But you had some questions
Right.
about Britishisms.
Britishisms. Yes, yes, yes. I basically throughout the last couple weeks,
Yeah.
I thought it'd be fun to just sort of look at like those random articles where it's like, oh, 25 things that British people do that are weird and stuff like that.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, I've asked you about Aussie stuff, so yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be nice to hear about
I wanted
from
to
the other
see
side.
if there was stuff on there that was just interesting or stuff on there that was like, what? What the hell is that? Or things that were like actually were a thing in Australia. Like the first one, and I know you'll like this one, but it is something that um, is kind of common here. Is when you're going through like a shop door,
Yep.
everyone holds it for the person behind them, right?
Yeah.
Automatically, you just hold it
Yeah, yeah,
open for
yeah.
someone.
Yeah, if you can see someone behind you coming
Yeah,
in, yeah.
and sometimes you even wait a couple seconds so that they can reach the door in time.
I almost think I know where this is going, yeah.
And if they don't say thank you or acknowledge the deed, do people in England, I know this sort of happens here, but do people loudly then say thank you or you're welcome if the person doesn't acknowledge it?
It depends on the person. It depends how I'm feeling.
But is it a thing?
It's
Like if they have not thanked you, do you go you're welcome?
oh yeah, yeah. Not necessarily with stuff like that. I do it a lot while driving. Like
Hmm.
if I've let someone out and they're taking ages, like a one-way street, not a one-way street, but you know
Right.
what I mean, where you can only get one car along, and I'll like flash someone like, all right, off, here you come, and then they drive past, not a hand signal, not a mouth thing, thank you, and I'm like, you're welcome, like all the
Yeah,
time, or
yeah.
like, yeah, thank you, I do that all the time driving.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's very common here with the holding the door thing. Like it's just a
Yeah.
guarantee. But apparently, it's not a huge thing in other places, which I
No, it's because it's a lot of passive
thought was I.
aggressiveness, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like in America, it
Mm.
might be like, oh, that guy was a dick. Held the door and he didn't say anything. But here, we're just like, yeah, you're welcome.
What else have we got here? Okay. This one we sort of already talked about, but I think
Okay,
it's a good idea to bring it up
go on.
now, which is on your orange juice, you have juicy bits instead of pulp.
Yeah,
Please explain.
it's just juicy bits, isn't it? Just bits of juice. Well, bits of the orange.
Do you have that with anything else? Instead of like the pulp or like the proper name, it's like, oh, just a bit of juicy bits. It's a bit of heezy weezies.
I think it would
Who's
be
what's it?
seen. I think it would be seen more as like a poncy thing here. Like I said, people that shop at Waitrose, the
Yeah.
posh. I think it'd be like fresh orange juice with pulp, But like, the sort of the stores that just have you happy-go-lucky, like orange juice with juicy bits. Like, oh, go on, pick up some orange juice. It's got some juicy bits in it. Oh, that's nice. But when it's like, oh, it's the fresh orange juice with pulp, that's like
Yeah.
more that sort of thing.
Yeah, here it's just like I've never seen the juicy bits thing, but it's all like it either has pulp or it's pulp free. It's just like, yeah, pulp free.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got pulp.
Uh,
Um, what else have we got here? Yeah, I've got this one where it's like common British traits.
okay.
You've got you find queue jumping the ultimate
Oh,
crime.
wow. I mean, yeah.
See, just
There's just
even hearing that, you just went, oh, it's just
yeah.
hurt
There's
your
there's
soul.
just there's just no excuse for it.
Right.
That is the whole
There's no
point in
no
the.
excuse.
It's just the whole point in a queue. That is the order of which you arrived, or of which you know
Right.
of which turn it is to receive the service.
Yeah.
Why should you just I have been waiting for longer, which makes me entitled to the service I'm queuing for before
Right.
you. You know,
It's just anarchy otherwise.
yeah, like it's just what you did. Of course, you'd never actually say anything to someone. You'd be like, "Oh, what the fuck you do?" You just look at them and you just be like, "If you died right now, no one would mourn." You just sort of, in your head. Uh, but where isn't that a big thing? surely, like, okay, I know it's like a
I
British,
mean,
but surely, like, if you're in America in the queue for
yeah,
like a KFC,
they just shoot you.
and then
Um,
hey, what you doing, boy? Just take him down.
that's gonna
But
trigger our American friends.
but, like,
No, I think it's definitely a thing almost everywhere, but I don't think it's quite as much
oh,
of a
here
travesty.
it's like someone's slapped your mother in front of you. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like a dick move, and but also we have actually talked about this one. I know this one
Okay.
is true, but it's interesting
Yeah.
because it's definitely not a thing here.
Okay.
I mean, it kind of is. It is a little bit. You do find it here, but
Okay.
apologizing automatically in a situation,
Yeah. I mean, it
and
depends.
we have actually spoken about this.
I think it's just easier. It's just the way to diffuse the situation. Whoever's fault it is, it's like, oh, sorry about that. Sorry, mate. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, we have that where you sort of bump into people, or like where you're trying to walk past each other and you do that little dance for a second. You go,
Do,
"Oh,
do,
sorry,
you-
mate."
do you make, okay, talk about that. When you're trying to get past someone, or if you walk, do you make the oop noise?
The oop noise.
The oop noise, right? So, and I've seen this isn't just me that does this, but I literally find myself doing it all the time, and every time I sort of hate myself a bit. So, okay, so I was walking in a supermarket the other day, and I was about to go
Right.
down an aisle, but it was like a bit of a blind aisle. And as I was about to walk down it, some other guy was coming out of it with his trolley, like straight towards me, and instead of just going, "Sorry about that," you go, "Oop," like that, like, "Oop,
Yeah,
mind
yeah,
out," like,
yeah,
"Oop,"
yeah.
you do
I
that,
don't know how common it is, but I've seen it, and I'm pretty
like.
sure I've done.
Yeah, it is a huge thing here. Like sometimes you get two people go, "Oop, oop," it's like, "Oop,
Oop,
oop."
oop, oop.
It's like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
noise
No,
doesn't
yeah,
mean
I've seen
anything.
it.
But if you were to just stay dead silent, I think it's just you acknowledging that, oh,
Yeah,
one of us is in the wrong here, but it doesn't matter. Let's just go our own ways and forget about it. You can
yeah,
just
yeah.
go, sorry. It's just that would almost just seem rude.
The funny thing here is, uh, I've noticed with British people the sort of dance where you're trying to get past each other.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
this very silly kind of thing. Here,
yeah.
I've noticed it gets very passive aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like this silly ho 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 kind of thing. I mean, sometimes it is, where it's a bit of
Yeah,
a ho
yeah.
ho oh
Like if it's with
silly
a mate
us.
or whatever, you both, one of you's going into the bathroom, one of you's trying to get you like, oh,
I
oh,
mean,
oh,
yeah,
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 yeah, that
yeah.
sort of thing. Yeah,
Um, or but even with sometimes with strangers, it can be a bit ha ha kind of thing.
yeah,
But I've
yeah.
noticed a lot of times, and I've seen it. It becomes very passive aggressive until someone sort of does the thing where they stand to the side and go,
Like after you, yeah.
like, no, I've never seen that situation where the person who steps aside isn't completely and utterly annoyed.
Yeah. Don't get it this
It's just
much
on
here.
you go then.
No, we don't get
It's
this
just
because I
very
think you turn
passive
around and be
aggressive.
like, "What did you just say?" Like, we're both in this situation together. You know. Does... Oh, another question is, how many times do you have to step the same way as someone before it's acceptable just to punch them square in the face just to get it over with? Do you know what I mean? Like, you're in a narrow thing, and oop, you literally have to make the oop noise, and you're trying to go left, and then they go, you're left there, right? Oh, 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 go the other way. Oh,
Well,
oh. Like that.
it
Like,
it
how many times is that
depends.
acceptable before you can just
It
and end
it
it?
depends. I like because of the passive aggressive thing. If it's the cheeky kind of thing,
Yeah.
then it becomes a polite. Someone will choose to stand aside and go, "Oh, there you go." But if it's like the full-on
Okay.
passive aggressive thing, it can very, very quickly escalate into an actual argument.
Wow. And do you ever have? I mean, I feel like this is quite a British thing, but I imagine you might have it. Do you ever have? Again, it's something I get in the car. Uh, what is it? A polite off or an after you off. So say if you're about to go through a doorway at the same time as someone else, and you step back and you go, "Well, after you," and then they go, "No, after you, I insist," and then you go, "No, after you." Like sometimes
No,
you get stuck
no,
there. That
that does
happened.
not happen here.
That is the thing here. It's like with driving. If there's a road that technically no one has right of way, it's just whoever goes goes. I do that sometimes. I see another car approaching, I'll stop, flash my lights, be like, "Yeah, off, off you go. That's fine," and then they'll flash their lights back. and they're not thanking me. They haven't moved, so they're saying, "No, no, you go," and I'm like, "No, no, no, you go." And then sometimes there'll be nothing, and then I'll be like, "Okay," and then I start going, and then they've started going, and then we're in the middle, and then we both start going, but there's not enough room for 2 cars. That was the issue to start with. So then you both got to back up and decide who's actually going to go. It's
That
kind of
definitely, none of that happens here
yeah,
at all.
no, no,
At all. It is
it's
very angry, passive aggressive
no, it's quite
people, especially in cars. It's like in cars, it's like you can get the most easygoing Australian, and like
yeah,
he's just
yeah,
full on relaxed, and he's like, "How's it going, mate?"
yeah,
And you know,
yeah,
put him in a car, and he becomes the most rage-induced thing
yeah,
that's ever existed. People are horrible in
yeah.
cars, and then they step out of the car and they're polite again.
I guess that's kind
This
of me a
this
little bit,
one this
but
one I know is true.
okay.
Speaking of polite, see it's all connected.
Yeah.
Um, this is something that I know British people do,
Okay.
but it's grumbling throughout a meal, but not telling stuff so as not to cause a fuss.
Yes,
I know
yes,
you guys do that.
and it's like, and sometimes you talk about like how much you're gonna get someone, but you never do. You're like, oh, meat's very undercooked. Whereas someone else, an American might just go, this food ain't right, take it back, and then, you know,
Oh
technically,
yeah,
they're perfectly in the right to do that. They've paid for their food in a
of
certain way.
course.
You expect a certain standard, and so are we. We're entitled to this. Uh, they're not gonna be like, oh, what a dick. He wants his food tasting nice. Like, yeah, sure.
Here's
Oh yeah,
here's
my
my
bad.
thing with it though. It's like
Yeah,
I won't I very 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 rarely send food back
yeah,
because I'm just not that fussy, honestly. If it's slightly overcooked or slightly undercooked, it's not going to ruin the whole meal. I'm not going to be like,
no,
this is disgusting. I'll be like, oh yeah, this could have been done better. It's still good.
yeah,
I'm still
yeah.
going to eat it.
So I
I'm
feel
still
like it's
probably
like
going to come back.
it's
If
like
if it was completely, unless it's completely shit or just not what I ordered, then I'm
yeah.
not going to send it back. I
Oh
just
yeah,
don't
yeah.
see the point in
If it's
getting
completely
upset.
not what I ordered, then yeah, I'd be like, oh, because that's gonna fuck it up for them because they'll probably give someone else my shit. So yeah, I just go, oh, this is the wrong thing. And they go, oh, sorry about that. They even do oop then. Oh, sorry about that, and then pick it up and take it away.
I
Blah blah
just
blah.
I just think it's like it's better than something that I can cook myself.
Yeah, it's like
Usually.
it's like backseat fooding. Like backseat driving. If there's someone that's in the front, they're really stressed, and you're like, oh, you could have gone then, or oh, you probably should. Like, fuck off, you drive. I'd like to you do better. And they're like, yeah, fair enough. I can't even drive.
If you're that fussy about your food, where like the slightest tiny bit thing
Yeah.
wrong, like if it's like, oh, it has a little bit too much pepper on it or something
Oh
like that.
God, yeah.
If you're that fussy about the food, maybe you should learn to cook. I just don't see the point in making a huge deal because it's like they're gonna spit in your food. They're gonna do
Yeah,
stuff to your food in the back, and they're gonna remember you if you even come back.
yeah,
It's like just vote with your wallet. If you really are unhappy with the service, if you're really unhappy with the quality of the food, there's no need to make a fuss and be a dick. Just
yeah,
don't come back. Don't give them your money.
yeah,
Go somewhere else.
yeah.
But generally, I've never, unless it's complete dog shit, there's no real need to send it back.
But I'm pretty sure you could probably ask most people in food service, and they would say like, okay, it's a bit of an inconvenience if you're not expecting to have to go back to the table and take it back to the, as long as you're polite about it, you're not like, oh, this is disgusting. This hasn't
Oh
been cooked
yeah,
properly, you fucking idiot. If you're just like, yeah, I think this meat's a little bit underdone. Can you just put it on for just another minute or so? Then I'm sure they'd be happy to do it. They want you to be
yeah.
happy, so you say good things and you tip if that's a thing wherever you're eating or whatever. Blah blah blah. Sure, I don't think they'd have a problem with that. But what else have you got on your list?
Let me see. Okay. This one is fun. Because it's definitely a thing here,
Okay.
but where you and I've spoken to Americans about this, and it's
Okay.
definitely not a thing. Sort of
Right.
in I think in the South they have something similar.
Yeah.
But where you go, how are you to someone, or particularly here we go, how's it going, and stuff like that. You're not really asking them how they are. It's
No.
like a greeting.
I spoke with someone about this before. And I said with his, all right, like you're right, isn't saying, are you all right? How are you? You just go, all right, mate, yeah, all right, or just all right, hey.
Yeah,
It's just
it's
all
just
right, yeah,
it's essentially like hello.
hello.
You don't really care, but some people do answer, and you regret the decision
Oh yeah,
to ask
that's a
them.
huge thing because well, sometimes people do that to you, don't they? Like if someone goes, you're right, I wouldn't just go, hello. Like sometimes I might go, yeah, I'm all right, you're all right.
Yeah, but the expected response is like, yeah, not too bad. How about yourself, kind of thing. And
Yeah,
then yeah, it's like
it's like a throwaway statement. It's not going, how are you? Like
it's like tell me
yeah,
everything that's happened to you in the last week since I've seen you,
yeah.
please. Because you say it to strangers. Uh, just how's it going? And
Yeah.
the just give it a little nod or whatever. Like you're not expecting an
Imagine
answer,
that
but some,
you go into the fucking servo and you go, "How's it going?" And then the guy just goes, "To be honest, not good. It's my wife walked out.
see,
The
this
job's
is
not
going to be
going
a
so well."
problem. This is going to be a problem for me. This is a huge problem for me when I go to America
Yeah,
because that's such a involuntary thing. If I walk
yeah.
past
How's it
someone
going?
or whatever, and just going, "How's it going?" And they're going to stop me in the street and just be like, "Oh, well, I had a bit of a rough day," and I'm like, I didn't actually want to know.
Or if someone walks up to you and go, "Hey man, how's it going?" And you go, "Hello." They actually want to know
Yeah,
how
just
it
go,
is
yeah, not
going.
just go, yeah, not bad, and keep walking.
Yeah. Oh, don't you hate the thing? Okay. When you're walking along and you see someone you know, but not like they're a little bit more an acquaintance, or maybe an
Right,
acquaintance to sort of like mutual friends.
right.
Um, and this might be a thing here, but no, I'm sure it is. And they say, "Hey, how's it going?" And you're not like you're both walking in opposite directions, and you're not sure if this is going to be a stop and have a conversation, or if it's going to be a, "Hey, how's it going?" "Hey, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, great, bye." Like almost as you like you
Yes.
almost don't stop
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is
yeah.
awkward. I've had it on both
That's
ends when I've
that's the
like
thing.
when either I'm in a rush or maybe I just didn't expect the interaction and someone's like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's good. Yeah, yeah." I'm still walking, but they've stopped. They're fully facing me. And I'm like, "Oh, I can't just
Yeah, you look for any signal from them,
yeah,
like
yeah."
how it's gonna go, but they're doing the
Don't you
same
wish
thing.
there was like a socially acceptable way to be like, "Hiya, is this a, just like a word? There should be like a word or some sort of signal. We should invent some sort of hand motion that you can just discreetly do as you're walking towards, which is is this going to be a stop and talk, or are we, passing pleasantries?
Yeah,
Uh,
we
because
as a society should come up with that.
yeah, because I've also had it on the other end, and there's a guy that I haven't seen like in ages. I barely recognise him, and he's walking towards me. I'm like, oh hey man, like I stop and like, you know, and sometimes they even like hold a hand out and it's like, oh yeah, how's it going? And they like almost like take it as they're walking, and then they're like, yeah, yeah, good, 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 and then they're gone. I'm like, oh, I thought this was a stop and talk.
I'm that guy because I'm kind of antisocial because
Well,
I don't like
yeah,
it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
used to
So,
be very social, but I'm always the guy that's trying to just keep walking.
but
I
what I mean is,
dread
it depends
running
on
into people I know.
the situation. That's what I mean. Like, there's certain people that I could literally, if it's like a friend that I know and see all the time, I could run
Yeah,
into him and be like, "Hey man, you alright? Yeah, cool. I gotta get back to work, so I'll see you later. All right, bye. Bang, gone." Like, you just sort of know.
for me, there's so many people that because of how antisocial I am, I don't see people that I've known for like years sometimes. So
Yeah,
every time I run into someone, they want to do the stop and chat,
yeah, yeah.
and I don't at all. So I see them coming, I'm like, oh god, and I
Oh,
just want to find a way to get out of it.
yeah.
Sometimes I've done this before. if I
Was it the
see
phone?
someone, if I see someone from far enough away, I will turn and like go another direction, and I'll like
Just
I'll
they've
like cut
clearly
through
seen you just
somewhere.
straight 180 on the spot. Nope. Just
Yeah, I'll either turn directly around or I'll like turn
I've
left and go a different way
see.
and just act like I didn't see
Yeah,
them.
I sometimes do the old cross the road if they're far away enough, and like from over the road you can give them a wave like, oh yeah, just like being polite, oh, hey, because they can't stop and talk. That's quite a good one. So you start
It
acknowledging like,
depends
all
on the
right,
road. It depends on the road because I've
oh
had
yeah.
people be like, "Oh, I'll pop right over. Yeah, just I'll run over," and they'll run
And like
over.
busy traffic, and you're just standing there like, please get hit by a car, please. You're just like, please.
Yeah, I've had that. People see me and it's like, "Oi, oi, hey," and it's like I don't want to talk to you. I didn't even like you when I did know you. I
Yeah,
just, but nobody ever believes you when you tell them that you don't like them.
yeah.
You go, you know what? I think you're one of the worst people I've ever met. You get out of
And
here.
like slap you like, ah, you always were funny.
Yeah, you're a funny guy. Speaking of socializing and stuff like that, and antisocial behavior, uh, there was an interesting service that I came across, right? And it's apparently a thing in the UK, and I need you to confirm or deny this.
Okay.
But it was the thing I was talking to you earlier about before we started recording, where it was just, oh my god. And it is apparently when you die, there's a service that is a rent a mourner service
Yeah.
in the UK to fill your funeral with fake friends. Is this a
Yeah.
thing?
Uh, it's
You
not
can
like a.
hire people
It's
to
100%.
mourn you,
It's not even a well-known thing. Like you'd only know it if you'd seen this
but
thing on the internet. Like
you instantly know it.
yeah, because I've seen it online. Yeah, I think there's different tiers of it or whatever. I could be wrong.
Different
There's
tiers? Oh my god.
yeah.
Okay. No, okay.
I think it's
I'm getting myself ready. Okay.
right.
Go.
I mean, I don't know it.
Explain this.
This is just
Detail.
from my memory. But as far as I can remember, so obviously you can just have. I don't think anyone would just hire a mourner because surely you can get, normally you can find one person,
Oh,
but
of
it's normally
course.
like just a small tight knit group of people. You can go, oh yeah, it's from a club that you attended, and I'm pretty sure you can go a bit further and you can have like photographers there. You can have like oh, that's the thing. I don't even know if it's in England or if it's in I don't know, but I just saw it online. Have you seen the fake celebrity sort of thing? And
Uh,
it's a fake paparazzi sort of
uh,
thing. And
I
it is
think
under
so,
that idea that
but we can
literally,
get to that in just a second. But what I want to ask
yeah.
is, what is the point of the fake mourner?
Oh, so you seem like you're popular and that you knew people. Because imagine that, like,
So,
you've died and literally you only knew like 10 people.
okay, but
Right.
what happens when the people that actually knew you ask? Because
Well,
presumably, like maybe you'd at least have one person there that knows you, or like a couple people, like maybe family or whatever. But what is the
uh,
point if they then go up and are like, "Well, how do you know? How do you know Gary?
yeah.
What do they say? Are they like,
Uh, well,
do they
here's the
have a
thing. I'm
dossier
thinking,
on you and they're like, oh, I knew Gary from
see,
his LARPing days.
I,
I was the elven wizard Fistandulus. It was we had a magical time. Like, do they have like a whole dossier of who they are, how they know Gary? Like, how does it work?
do you think Gary, as he's dying, is like, oh, I'm gonna die soon. I better. Oh, I didn't really know anyone. I should probably hire some mourners, and and then they come and visit him, and they're like, how's it going, Gary? Or do you think like, if it's their friend organising the funeral, and they're just like, oh my god, it's like no one even liked Gary. There's only 6 people going, like, but his wife is gonna be absolutely because I feel like it's not for the person that's died because well they're dead, they don't care. But it's more
Right.
like for the wife, say if only like 6 people turn up or whatever, you know, then Oh yeah, look, Brenda, look at all these people that have turned up. Oh yeah, they all
Also,
knew Gary. They could be
it's
like workmates. There could be, there could be quite a lot of different.
but do they coach them? Is my question. Do they provide them information in case any of the actual people question them? Because that's like such a common thing at funerals. Is you
Yeah,
go
it
up and you're
is.
like,
Yeah,
oh, how did you know Gary? How did you know
yeah,
Gary?
that's the thing. You'd share
You
like
bond.
stories, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you bond over memories of said person.
Yeah, I mean, imagine it's when you look at it, you're like, oh, it's an easy service. You just go along and cry. But actually, there's a whole, that there is a lot to it.
Well, is there like some companies they just send a bunch of guys and it's like a really bad service, but there's other companies that are just professional as fuck about it, and it's like they provide portfolios and just like dossiers on the target, and
Yeah,
it's like they assign them roles, and it's like, okay,
yeah.
this you are Tom Bombadil, yeah, Lord of the
Bum,
Rings
oh,
name.
Tom
Um,
Bombadil, yeah.
um, you knew Gary from LARPing. You were this elven wizard. This is your whole character history.
Oh
Um,
my god.
there was one night where you shared a kiss. You were both confused about it, and that's why you haven't seen him since.
Oh
But
my
you
god.
always cherished that moment with him.
That'd be a bit
Go.
of an awkward thing to bring up at a funeral, wouldn't it? Just, yeah, once me and Gary kissed, just his
Well,
wife's just
that's
there like,
that's why he
um,
wasn't around. It was a long time ago, and
yeah.
that Gary was like, I'm really
So,
liking this one chick that I recently met. And I think she may be the one. And
that'd be.
is there a whole
It must be
world
really difficult because
of
they're like,
of
oh,
funeral actors?
yeah.
Is that like a whole subset of the
What a
acting
lovely way
community?
to end the Christmas podcast. uh, well, I guess like it would be difficult because there's always going to be those people that say if there's someone that you knew all your life but they weren't very popular. You were pretty sure that it was only going to be you and like a few close friends and family that went, and you went, and the place is just filled. Like first of all, bang, that's alarm bells. You're like, who are these people? Like
Yeah,
surely you would have had a rough idea of who was going,
right.
right? And then if you went and questioned one, they're like, "Oh yeah, back in '86, me and Gary went trekking around China," and you're like, "Well, no, you didn't. Gary's never flown actually. He never had a passport.
Well,
Like
see,
they've got to, yeah,
someone on the inside has to be giving this information. So whoever's
yeah,
hiring them, they have to provide all the information. Like, there's probably like a guy. Like, you ever see uh uh the Quentin Tarantino movie? I'm blanking on the name. Um, the one with Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta
um,
and Bruce Willis. I Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction.
oh,
Oh my
yeah, yeah,
god.
yeah, 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 yeah. For some reason it was hovering
Uh,
around my head, but I was like,
yeah, I just totally blanked on it. Like,
yeah,
what
yeah,
is
yeah,
wrong
Pulp
with me?
Fiction.
Yeah,
I
you
have
know
a
the
long
bit
time ago.
with
Yeah.
the wolf. The wolf. He
Uh,
comes in where they've got the dead body and they got to clean it up,
oh
and they
yeah, yeah,
send in
yeah, yeah.
the guy. Is there like a guy for funeral mourners who comes in and he's all like, right, I need the information. Okay, you're this, you're this, and he like just sets it up.
Either that, or it's like
And
a
like he calms down the wife, and he's like, okay, can you make us some coffee, blah blah blah, and like
and
he just
she's the inside sort of
yeah,
person.
like maybe there's a couple people on the inside, and they're like freaking out because like there's no turnout to the funeral, and he shows up and he sorts it out in like 5 minutes, and like
Yeah,
he's the guy. Like, is there a mourning company that has that?
maybe, or it could just be. I think what this is more likely is that so it's not gonna be like to boost the numbers for someone that has like 6 people. It's more like say if you've got 50 people. Well, I don't know. I can't think of a number, but say if you've got like a fair amount of people but you need to up the numbers a little bit. It's just people dotted about, and maybe they literally don't even make it to the after service thing. They're literally mourners. They're there, they cry at the funeral, and then they're just gone. Because not everyone goes to the after service thing.
I like my
Oh,
version
oh
where they all
yeah, yeah,
have
yeah, yeah,
fake
yeah,
personalities better.
yeah,
That's way more fun.
yeah. Right.
I just want You know, they're just serious actors, Don. They take
And,
it very serious.
and there's a guy who's just a fucking whiz with Photoshop, and it's like, he photoshops all these pictures, and then one of the fake mourners just like, yeah, here's a picture of me and Gary back in university back in '86, like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just like really cleverly like
No,
photoshopped in, yeah, we're
that's
on the baseball
headcanon.
team,
That's how this business
yeah.
works. That is how it works in my head. I don't care if anyone refutes this. I
But
will
because
always.
because stuff like that is pretty, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, we went to university together on the baseball team. We were in talks every so often. You just go, oh, I didn't know Gary was on the baseball team. Then, oh yeah, he was. Like, yeah, he was quite active back in his day. Like, that's the sort of thing you can't really
Yeah,
question it if he just might not have mentioned it
yeah, and
unless
and
he was
all of it's
literally,
just. I
yeah,
reckon it's just a bunch of struggling actors, right? And they're just trying to make ends meet. So they go to
yeah,
these morning gigs, and but they're so serious about it, and they take it so seriously. They just get into the role, you know.
yeah. Imagine that, like they get into it, and one of the real mourners is like, we've really enjoyed talking to you. I can't believe Gary never spoke about you. We'd really like to invite you around for Christmas dinner. We live here or whatever. Like, and the
Yeah,
guy just gets in too deep,
yeah. He
and
just goes in way.
it's been like 10 years, and every so often they bring up Gary, and he's just like, yeah, why don't we talk about something else? Like, he's in too deep. He
Yeah,
can't just leave this family because he's been brought in by them.
yeah.
You know, he
He's a method actor. He's a
like he
method
he
actor.
gave away like Gary's daughter at her wedding, because he
Yeah,
was the closest thing to a relative.
I mean,
You
he's
know,
godfather to
he's
their children now.
yeah,
It's
he's
just
he's in deep.
very awkward. Like I mean, there's method actors and then there's method actors.
Yeah, like
This is just his
it's like,
life now.
have you seen Tropic Thunder?
Yeah,
Tropic Thunder. Yeah, it's like I don't go out of character till the DVD commentary. Like he's just in character
yeah,
until the family have successfully mourned.
of course. This is a thing now, and this should also be our second movie.
I was gonna say if it's not a thing, like, you know what I mean, we,
It
we should
should be.
we
It
should
should
afterwards
be.
look at this and be like, how big is the service? And realistically, it's probably, yeah, there's a few people that cry at your funeral, they'll stay quiet and they'll be gone afterwards. No one would question someone absolutely
Yeah,
bawling their eyes out at a funeral, and then afterwards, bang, they're just gone.
but that's not as fun.
No, it's not. So if we actually went full on, what we could do is we could do just a method acting service.
Work. Yeah, yeah. We
And
find
it will
like we
also
go
be,
around to local theaters. We find
yeah,
up and comers.
yeah,
They can get a bit of money because normally they do that stuff for free. You know,
yeah,
so we just give them a bit of money in their
exposure,
pocket,
yeah,
exposure,
yeah.
bit of money
uh,
in their pocket. They get an acting
Thing is,
job. They can
yeah,
they can
you've got
just
to be
run with it. They
you've
can
got to be
run with it.
careful because what if they run into him like down the street 5 years time, like, oh shit, yeah, I saw you at Gary's funeral, like, you know what I mean? It's
Well, see,
really
that's why we get local to us actors, right?
okay,
And then
okay.
we do our business out of town.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a small world. You get your actors from Australia. They can all do really good British accents. They come over here and do some funerals. But it doesn't take Gary's widow or his brother
Yeah, but like let's
goes on
say,
holiday to Australia, bumps in.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I met you
no,
at
no.
Gary's
See,
funeral, didn't I?
that's unlikely. By the
I
time
know,
that happens,
I
it
know.
won't.
Yeah,
So like we could just import a bunch of actors. Like I could send over some Aussies, you could send over some Brits.
yeah,
And yeah, we could make this a real thing.
yeah.
We
What
This is how we become millionaires
as I was saying with
in the
the
cutthroat funeral mourning business.
So I think we should branch out as well. Maybe to start with, funeral's pretty staple, but we've got to
Right,
really, it's got to be top quality acting with that.
right,
So maybe to start off, you start with things um like your old job, your old boss or whatever. You go in one day and then loads of screaming fans come in. They're like, "Oh my god, it's him!" or whatever. Or some guy comes in and he's
right.
just like, "Yeah, sorry, boss. That the Lamborghini, it's not ready. So I just put a new one on your account because you can afford it. And it's just waiting at the dealership round the corner. It was 6 million. Is that okay? And then you just go, yeah, of course it's fine. And it's like, all right. You have stuff like that. You do
Oh
smaller
yeah.
services to start to maybe like get back at that ex-girlfriend. You've just got some,
Oh yeah.
some
Yeah.
absolute hottie on your arm, and you've got paparazzi following you. Just like, oh, what was it like realizing that she was the girl of your dreams? And you could be like, well, to be honest, maybe it could have been someone else, but she was just always there for me. You've got to
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
build it
We
up.
we we do a whole different bunch of services. Like we could do like tiered services,
And again,
so
well,
people could pay for different things. We could do weddings,
I was gonna say
birthdays,
exact opposite of funerals.
work,
Well,
Christmas
what?
parties.
Yeah, everyone has this this vision of their wedding or whatever, and they don't want empty seats there, even if
Yeah,
it's just a few,
exactly.
just to fill it up at the back, or maybe it is a bit of a falling out
Just
with half a family, so we
like you
need.
ever
Yeah,
see the Wedding Ringer, right? With Kevin Hart. It's
I
basically he goes
haven't actually
around,
know.
he be's the guy's best man,
Okay, yeah,
and he provides like groomsmen and things like that.
yeah.
So we could do basically stuff like that and then
Kind of
come
that
up with
service,
stories
but
for
yeah,
everyone. Yeah. But we do it for everything.
yeah. I think that's
And so
a
like
bit of
we
an
just,
identity.
like what, you don't know my best mate of 10 years, John? Like, oh, I
Yeah,
never mentioned him?
just
Or
no,
like there's
John's been
people,
living out the country. We've been
yeah,
close online. Yeah,
like this could, and this is how we become
I know.
super millionaires. So expect us to be advertising our services in
Yeah,
this growing
and
cutthroat industry.
right, and from the success of one of these services can help the other. We get some great
Exactly.
up and coming actors, and we just think he could probably play demonic Santa Claus. Bang, he's in our movie.
Yes, exactly. This is how we scout talent for the
Yeah,
movie.
because it's not just scouting. We're seeing them at work.
So apply now, and one day you could be Saint Nick the Blood God.
Yeah. Yeah, leave your applications below.
Yeah,
If you've got
yeah.
any other ideas for functions, yeah,
Acting experience, special skills like ninja blades.
preferably height as well. If you're a bit shorter, we could probably cast you as an elf
Yes, true,
because we're
true,
gonna need
true,
a
true, true.
lot.
This is the best idea we've ever had.
Yeah, and that is that. We've come to the end of our Christmas podcast. Christmas slash not Christmas podcast. We hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas if this goes up before Christmas, which, yikes. Yeah, it's doable.
Hopefully,
It's doable.
it's doable. It's doable.
Yeah.
But thank
or
you
if you
for
don't
tuning
celebrate
in.
Christmas, have a good season. Whatever you celebrate.
Seasons,
That's all good stuff.
well wishes,
Exactly.
happy holidays. I
Yeah,
hope
well-
everyone has a food coma.
Oh yeah. Yeah, enjoy your turkey.
If you have any how-dos or topics for future podcasts, please leave them down below, and we will talk about them at length, even if they're the most mundane subjects.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna do New Year's resolution. New Year's resolution is do more podcasts. There we go.
Yes.
That's that
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Maybe try and get to out a month, or
Done.
maybe we'll just have a bit more of a. It'll be out on the 10th of every month. Something like that. We'll see
Yeah.
what we do.
We'll work on it. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But thank you for tuning in, and look forward to the next one.
Thank you. Praise Santa.
Praise Santa, the blood god.
Ho ho ho.
Okay, you need after that bit, you just need to play Christmas music just a little bit, just for a couple seconds.
Oh yeah, it's probably playing right now.